Good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the live trading webinar with myself, Giles Coughlin and Paul Sanders. Good to see you, folks.
Giles, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. How you doing, mate? You right?
I'm good. I'm
Good.
good. All's well. What are you up to today?
Well, today it's University of Michigan print that's really grabbing my attention,
That's
and that's
excellent.
going to be an interesting one. And I was reassured today because I did see News Squawk was referring to that Democrat-Republican split in the voting for the inflation data. I was thinking, am I the only one who's mentioning this, which always makes me quite nervous, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So I was very pleased to hear News Squawk drawing that to our attention.
No, that's great. That's
And
great.
yeah, I will have to dip off for the risk event, but I put the link in the Discord channel
Okay.
so we can go to the risk event together as a group.
Perfect.
And then I think we just use the same link to come back in, don't we?
Yeah, we just the
Same
same.
link, yeah.
Yeah.
I also
We're
put that
sending
same link in the Discord, so everything's in the Discord. We'll catch it before we go. Gold, $3,000 an ounce. Wow, crazy.
I do have a little precious metal story for you.
We
So
have time for a precious metal story. Yeah. This is when you tell us about your gold reserve sitting in your
Because
bank.
I
Yeah.
actually have a mini Fort Knox at the house.
Yeah.
No, but it was interesting. I ran into a company the other day randomly, and that company, they are a silver mint. And so what they do in the United States is for any companies like Financial Source, for example, they will print the Financial Source logo on a piece of silver, right? But here's the kicker, right? So you can use that, whatever, you give it away, like give it away with memberships and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker. In the United States, things that have logos on them are considered promotional and marketing material that you can write them off on your taxes. And so, yeah, and now we can purchase, all the silver we want and have that as an asset that'll just grow. We just write it off as marketing expenses.
If
You know,
I
we
start
don't wanna-
seeing silver and gold precious metals, like if I see a gold couch, I'll know you're not just flexing.
Exactly.
There's a business reason.
Exactly. But it's pretty crazy because if businesses are paying like 20-30% or whatever, to be able to save that and then you have an appreciating asset, it's pretty crazy, but
Yeah, nice little loophole, really, isn't it?
it is.
Right. Before we whittle away the time, let's get stuck in. So, the main event today is going to be this University of Michigan sentiment print that's coming up at 2. And what's in intense focus is the inflation expectations. But as we know, there was a Democrat-Republican split on these inflation expectations, with essentially Republicans seeing no inflation and Democrats seeing huge amounts of inflation. And that's why we settled in the middle for this number. I'll go through it more properly with the risk event, so I won't bore us for now. But that's going to take the focus 2 o'clock, so it comes half an hour after the open. And the key thing to be aware of is sentiment has just generally lifted across markets. And you'll see here, it's largely driven by positive fiscal stimulus due to hit China. So some fiscal stimulus is expected to come from banks, who are being encouraged to support the economy more. And look at that, a real rocket higher for China. That's lifted sentiment around the world. VIX lower. We got the Antipodeans higher. Got the safe havens lower. So it's risk on for the moment. Yes, you've got those tariff concerns. And remember, until April the 2nd, we're probably going to be in this tariff uncertainty. Will there be extra tariffs? Will there be retaliatory tariffs? 10, 20, 30%, 200%? It's going to be those kind of headlines which we've been seeing over the last few days. Markets just getting a bit tired of that now. And as I said, there's no macro reason for this drop in US stocks. It's just like tariff fear and uncertainty. Remember the Fed, they're in the blackout period, and they've been saying, yes, we've noticed soft data indicators, consumer confidence, PMIs, taking a sharp dip lower, but it hasn't come through the hard data yet. Last NFP print was weaker, but nothing, US economy still adding jobs. And the last CPI print that we've just had was towards the weaker side of things. So, is there a mad panic here? Yes, there is in terms of tariffs, but no, there isn't in terms of the US economy. Remember that Atlanta Fed GDP tracker is seen in negative territory now. But we haven't seen any hard data. So it's all about the hard data. That'll be the focus. Sentiment indicators are still going to move markets. I've got a slight alarm bell ringing in my head that this narrative has been overplayed now. So even if we do see a surprise sentiment print on the University of Michigan data, we may see another flush lower, but I'd be scared of it having more legs because we haven't got the hard data to back up the fear. It's just the fear, and it's been rolling for some time. In the background, we've got European fiscal stimulus coming from Germany. That's big spending package. That's been lifting the euro more generally, and the euro is still lifted. Dollar still weaker, but we're sort of in this key support area for the dollar, and it just remains to be seen whether the dollar weakness continues and euro dollar keeps going. Sentiment is positive, risk is positive, so that does favor further euro dollar upside. But you know, there's a lot of different drivers out there today. The major thing for us to look on is that we're starting the session risk positive, and we've got Trump giving executive orders at 4 UK time, so that's at the end of our session. And we've got the University of Michigan sentiment print at 2 o'clock in just under an hour. So that's where we're at in terms of sentiment. The rhythm for the day is gentle trend higher. And we can see that since the Globex Open, we've had positive inventory. So we've been building inventories levels throughout the European session. Key levels to be aware of. We've got sellers trapped here on the 15 and up here on the 15. So 5,600, big level. And this level here, 5,580, big level, which we tried to break through but couldn't. And we've got a big level here at the 5,580. The 5,585 is a bigger level. And then obviously we've got the developing weekly area of support around that 5,560 on the weekly. On the 15-minute chart, we've got, just to point out, zooming out, we've got this sort of sandwich of value area highs and lows up here from 5,595 up to 5,610. With obviously, if we can get a big break of this level here, with all those sellers, get a big break at the 5,588. Look, that's where a lot of those sellers are at, and more sellers are out there at the 5,600. So on the hourly chart, if you look at this big candle here, which has got all those, which has got 7,000 contracts, you can see that actually the majority of those contracts short are in here at 5,590. Okay, so just bear that in mind. We're at 5,590, that's the major level, and we've just pulled away from that area. We got developed value areas underneath price and above price, and we're kind of here stuck in the middle, waiting for the open and waiting for some clear direction. The key areas to be aware of, I can see on the 5-minute, an obvious area where you could start scaling in buys would be if we got like a deep dip down to the 5,570. That would be worth buying. Ideally that 5,567. So into the open, if we move down to that 5,567 region, that would be worth buying, and looking at buying another position at the 5,560. So that wouldn't be an unreasonable area to look for a little bit of scaling in, assuming that this uptrend is going to continue. I see no reason why it shouldn't, but obviously got the University of Michigan sentiment data. So we're expecting buyers today. Trapped sellers again here at this 5,575 and down here at the 5,570. So both good areas for buying down there. We've got a lot of buyers who came in late. Seeing them get trapped on the 15 will also be significant. So general buy bias in place, a gentle normal trend higher with the daily VWAP providing support throughout the day. So another test of daily VWAP. I would expect buyers on a first test. So I'll just change the delta. So that's what I'm looking at for today, folks. What's grabbing your attention today as we come into the session? Obviously, precious metals are doing very well, but anything grabbing your attention about the E-mini?
Not really, honestly.
Yeah.
The only thing is that range was pointing out yesterday. We did have a break, that larger range had a false break down, and then we pulled right back up into the center of it. Hey, Anthony. So
yeah,
it's not good news for more selling, like you were saying. So we just have to see what's happened or what will happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like if you look at this range, you've got the range between the 30 and the 60. This is probably, yeah, is on the 15-minute. And you've been bouncing between those levels since the 10th. And then you tried to break lower yesterday, the 13th. You broke lower, you broke lower, you broke lower, and now we're back up into that range. So
Yeah.
it seems like we're tired of going further lower.
Yeah, you get that feeling. And then we've got positive sentiment today as well. Yeah. Yeah, it does feel a tired.
Eventually the market will be like, well, I don't know, we have so much uncertainty, but we can't really go lower. So
Yeah, like you feel
wait for
we might have a bit of a retracement and then choppy headline trading until April.
Yeah, could be.
It's funny because the Fed have got to meet next week, and you see the Fed could, if they start downplaying growth concerns, then the market will stop worrying too.
Yeah.
And the CPI was fairly benign, wasn't it, yesterday?
Yep.
So that's not too bad. And it was the PPI yesterday, CPI on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But let's just take a quick look at that, piece it together a bit. Below expectations for the headline and the core. I think I read 3 different opinions on what this means for the PCE.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think the settled one is that it's certainly not pushing the PCE higher.
Yeah, okay.
Only other thing is the VIX, just to look at it, it's still holding above that sort of 23. But if we start moving underneath that 23 during the session, then that does bode well for upside. Again, you can see once the VIX starts going back under the 33, you get the uptick.
Yep.
So just as soon as you start, we're moving in the right direction. So
I wonder if we'll return back to sort of normal trading conditions once this tariff stuff is figured out.
Yeah. So, summary for the 14th of March. No trades today. The trade I was looking to get into early in the session was support from this 5575. We had the point of control at the time down here at about the 5573. And then when we had these buyers trap these sellers, great, that was the opportunity.
Coming up at the top of the hour in about 30 seconds, Trump is to sign executive orders.
Trump alert, everybody get ready, he's coming. So looking for a 5573 entry. Price moved down to the daily VWAP at 7.8. So just missing, I think I mentioned a bit high, that 7.5. So just missing the entry, and then price moved up higher. Then looking to take advantage of this move to the upside. There was a bit of absorption going on, but that ended on this candle here with the sellers that were building just getting booted away. So then I was looking to enter on an area where these sellers got trapped here at the 55.88. Again, price moved down to the 89, but not the 88, and we carried on up. And then it was a familiar story, looking for a retracement back down to the 560 through the point of control. Buyers trapping the sellers. Deep value was here at the 560, a great place for a potential entry, and prices never even looked like coming back. Then had a fourth effort with the 15-minute buyers getting trapped here around the 5609. So with sellers getting trapped here and here, looking for a retracement back to 5612 to see if I can get in to look for a little bit more upside. So chasing the market all the day, but always just a couple of points behind it. But a strong day really is just markets are shaking off some of the malaise from the previous weeks. And that's the end of the week.
And that's the wrap. According to Najam, the Lambo Bulls are taking control
gold.
today.
The upside risk to is $3,100 in 2025.
One way, all the way up. All right, folks, we will be back at it next week. Hope you have a fantastic weekend.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
And remember, 2 points. If you're feeling down, you just got to say 2 points and you're in it.
All right. See you, everybody.
See you guys.